What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. As you see by the title, it's titled "The End is Near, Are You Ready?" And I always wanted to talk about the end time stuff, and I wouldn't say there yet, but I have to prepare more. I wanted to get more into scripture to really talk about what God's saying. But I just wanted to do a quick video and hit on some short points. For example, like let's start with this scripture. We might as well just jump right into it. I'm looking at it right now. It says 2 Timothy 3 and 1 through 7. It says, "But realize this, that in the last days difficult times will come. For people will be lovers of themselves, lover of money, boastful, arrogant, slanderers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful." So if we just stop right there, those are the first two verses. A lot of times we already see now people are lovers of money. We see people like, I need to get rich, I need to get rich. And people are like, they putting money on this pedestal, they putting money above God, and that's their main focus, that's their priority. We already see people too being disobedient to their parents. For example, we see I've been a victim of this too. My parents can tell me to do something, and for some reason I just don't want to listen. Then I have to shake that off a couple of times. I'm like, Lord, forgive me. We see that now, like a lot of people just being disobedient, especially with social media and everything. People just think they can do whatever they want, and that's not the case. A lot of people are ungrateful. A lot of people are like, oh man, like why I don't have this, why I don't have that. And it's just so funny because I said something yesterday. I was like, I'm hungry. I was like, man, I ain't got nothing in the house right now. And I was like, I need to go buy some groceries for myself. And then I'm looking, I'm like, I have groceries. My mind was just like, I want to get some fast food or something. And then later, I'm like, I should be grateful that I have eggs, this and that to eat. A lot of people don't have that. And that was just showing me a little bit like I was being a little ungrateful. And I'm like, Christian, what's the point of buying this stuff if you're not going to indulge in it? So I got to start being more grateful too. And like you said, a lot of people are going to be arrogant, boastful, unholy. I remember I was, proud of myself when I got my Camaro at one point. I was like, yeah, posting about it. But then God had to humble me and show me that, like, hey, don't put that car on a pedestal. And I was like, okay, Lord, I apologize. You're right. And we see that with different, that's just me. And we see that. Now, I know other people in y'all lives, y'all going through something similar. But like I said, that's just certain things that's happening right now that we all have to be aware and see. And the Bible even talks about it's going to be like birth pains. Different things we're going to see is going to happen. So when we see these, let's actually continue real quick. Unloving, inconceivable, malice, gossip, without self-control, brutal, haters of good, treacherous, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasures rather than lovers of God, holding on firm, and so on. So as you see, that's not even the whole 1 through 7. It's just talking about every form of thing we're seeing that is bad, that is happening right now. And it's one of those things, it's like, we know that's going to happen. So people are like, well, that's been happening for thousands of years. When do we know he's really going to be here? Are we in the end times? It's just like birth, like God said, like when they're having contractions and they're doing all this kind of stuff and the pain is happening and you see these wars and rumors of war. No, the end is not here yet, but it's coming. But as it starts happening more and more and more and more and more, that's when you know the end is coming and it's going to be near. And then if we go to Matthew 24 and 7, it says, "For nations shall rise against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms, and there shall be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places." We already see that 24/7. We see that happening with, Palestine. We also see that the Hamas group, all that stuff happening. And, those are just different warning signs happening. So don't get too scared and be like, well, don't even be fearful and be like, oh, well, are we going to make it? Is it going to happen? Be concerned, be prepared, but just know the end is not here. But this is the main thing I really wanted to say for this video was tomorrow is not promised. And God even tells us, don't worry about the past, focus on the future. And he even said, tomorrow has problems of their own. Don't worry about tomorrow. So if we have to focus on the present, we shouldn't ponder and dawn on the end times. We should be watchful, obviously, but we may not even make it next week while people are worried about end times events and God's coming. Well, I didn't mean this in a disrespectful way, but people worry about end time events and God coming back. But imagine if you don't even make it to after this video, God forbid, or next week, God forbid. End times don't matter for you. Your time just ended. So like, don't dawn so much on the end times and being like, well, I gotta get right. So when God comes back, I can see him and I get raptured up. Make sure you're right with God now, because you may not be here. So this is just a quick video. Focus on the now. The end times, be watchful. Be like the people in the story. I forget exactly when they had the candles and they had the oil, and some people didn't have the oil. Be ready, be prepared for the end times, but also worry about the now. Like, people keep focusing on the future more than their now. Are you right with God now? Are you worshiping now? Are you doing his will now? So when he does come, is he going to say, well done, my good and faithful servant? Or he's going to say, I never knew you? So focus on the now. Amen. God bless.
Luke 5:32. I didn't come to call righteous people, but sinners to change their hearts and lives. God bless.